Welcome to EntreProgrammers Podcast, the podcast for developreneurs, where you get to be a fly on the wall listening to real conversations of developers trying to tackle the challenges they face as entrepreneurs.
This episode of the EntreProgrammers is sponsored by GetDrip.com, email marketing and automation that doesn't suck. And believe me, I've been using Drip for a while now, and it's awesome. I never thought I would be somebody that liked marketing, automation, and things around it. But honestly, GetDrip has made this tremendously easy and enjoyable for me. I've sent more than 2,000 developers through my 5-day email courses, for example. I've automated my entire mailing list through my WordPress blog. I've hooked up my Stripe account to send emails when somebody buys from me, and I've done so much more with it. And Drip's marketing automation features go so far beyond simple email list management. There are a ton of advanced features and marketing automation rules that you can use, a powerful API, and built-in integration with most of the top players in shopping carts and e-commerce. So if you're looking to do more than just manage your mailing list, and you really want to take advantage of a connected community through automated emails, rules, and other tools, you really need to get your Drip account started. So head over to getdrip.com/EntreProgrammers and get signed up today.
I don't know.
The math works out, but there is the emotion and risk.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, not to discount anything you said, John, but there.
Yeah. Okay, well, at least promise me you'll think about it, like run the numbers in a spreadsheet and think about it and figure out how long it would take you to pay it back to get up to, get the reserves in the IRS account. And I don't know how much, if you usually get a rebate every year or not, or if you paid exact.
No, I always end up paying a small amount at the end of the year.
You mentioned that there's a $5,000 minimum balance on that account.
Yeah, and that's one thing I do need to ask about, because I need to see if they have a savings account or any account type. I don't even care if it's a savings account, but any kind of account type that would allow me to not have a minimum amount in there, and then I could legitimately take that $5,000 and pay that off, because that $5,000 I built up that $5,000 4 years ago so that I would never have to think about whether or not I'm going to go below $5,000. So
I would say if it were me, that $5,000 would be fair game.
Yeah.
I would personally not want to take the money that I'm allocating for Uncle Sam this year. But if you've got that buffer in there, I would go after that.
Yeah, I need to go talk to my bank about that, and
even if without minimum, there might be a way that you could just drop down to $5,000.
Linked account.
Yeah.
If you link the account with your home, right, then they usually waive the fee, the minimum balance, or if you have a home equity. Yeah.
Sure. I can't do that with a business account, though, because then the business would have to own the home.
There's a few options there. There's definitely banks that would allow you to, and at the very worst, you should find out what their fee is when you go below the minimum, and it's probably an average minimum. I just did some quick math here. If you're paying a credit card debt of 19%, I'm just assuming 19%, you're paying $79 a month on $5,000, right? So, so if their fee for being below the balance is less than $79, then you're going to come up ahead, if you use that
like $20 or something.
Yeah.
Right. So you still come up pretty far ahead.
Right. So I can. That's a good point. I probably will take that $5,000. In which case, if I take $10,000 out of our personal savings and $5,000 out of that business account, that puts me down to almost a little less than $4,000 in credit card debt.
Okay, so then
if you get a little creative, then you could just nail it.
Yeah.
Right, just borrow the $4,000 from taxes. That's not much. You can definitely pay that back. Then when you have that zero balance, you're going to feel so much better. You're going to be more disciplined because you're not going to want to bring that balance above zero again, and you're going to be on a better street. I can understand you being a little trepidatious about borrowing $15,000 from your taxes and paying a credit card, but if it gets down to like 3 or 4, seriously, just do it. Knock off the credit card.
If it gets down to that, I can probably do a one-time fire sale to get that money.
Yes, that's even better. That's even better.
Yeah.
That's even better. Do a one-time fire sale.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, and actually, I would argue having that little, even if you drop below your minimum balance on that account, like having that getting dinged is just like it's just enough little. It's a little prod, It's like it's like a nice little. It's like not a huge. I'm gonna go to jail risk, but it's like this is annoying. I want to get rid of this. So
yeah, the problem, the longer term issue there is, if I take that 5,000 out, I need to build up that $5,000 buffer again so that I don't continuously get that ding.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So the better solution is to find an account that doesn't have that minimum.
Yeah, agreed. My account, I have our emergency fund / like big expenses fund, like the car thing John mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
That's a money market account. We get like less than 1% interest on it, but we don't pay anything. And since it's with Ally, we can transfer the money seamlessly between, So you might be able to get like a money market account or something like that with no minimum balance and just park the money there.
Yep. So let's be like lawyers, and let's instead of like let's go ahead and send bills out to Bank of America, Allied Bank, and Chase for advertising.
Totally.
We'll do our thing first, and then we'll charge them without asking them.
Yes.
There we go.
And we all bill at $500 an hour, by the way.
$500 a minute, which should cover all of my debt.
Oh, a minute.
Yeah, so that was the last thing I was going to say on the debt was, for anyone else listening, I guess, if you have like $50K of credit card debt, seriously, and you have a mortgage, go get a home equity line of credit on your house. Yes, you're risking your house, but you're risking everything if you're paying 90% interest on like 50 grand.
Right.
And get the 4% interest, or what, I don't know what home equity lines are right now, but I guarantee it's less than a credit card. And that's like the super, like when you go to these debt consolidation experts, they essentially do the same thing, except they charge you at a higher rate. You could do it. You can finance your own thing with a home equity line if you've got equity in your home. So, it's a quick tip. I've used it myself before in actually, buying more real estate, like at a lower interest rate than a mortgage rate. I mean, you got to be careful there, but definitely you don't want to be paying 90% interest rates on credit cards.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
this is like debt number,
number whatever, a lot. All right, so some positive news. I put my my JavaScript fundamentals screencast bundle together last weekend and have been advertising it all week as 50% off. And I hit my 1% conversion rate that I had targeted.
Nice.
So I sold 17 copies of that for a total of $512 this week.
Nice.
And most of those, well, yeah, I guess about half of those came in today, and I sent out my last chance email this morning. So hopefully, as people are getting out of work this afternoon, shutting down for the weekend, some more people will remember that last chance email and go pick it up.
Awesome.
Cool.
So that's good. So that's an extra $500 for the month. Not as good as last month when I had significantly higher. I had like $800 last month from bundle sales, but still pretty good. That'll get me to not quite $3,000 of income this month for Watch Me Code, because I've lost some subscribers this month as well, which is a whole other problem. I'm down to 336 subscribers, whereas last month I had 352. So
and you're driving. So that JavaScript bundle is going to be one of the things you drive people to from the end of the course, right?
Yes, and I got that set up this morning already. So at the end of the 5-day JavaScript This email course, there's actually a 6th-day bonus tip on partial function application, and then 3 days after that, you'll get an email pointing you to the video that I posted today, answering the question about passing multiple parameters to .apply. And then 3 days after that, you'll get an email giving you 50% off discount code for the JavaScript Fundamentals bundle. So hopefully in the next week or two, I'll start seeing a couple more sales coming along through that as people get to the end of that email course.
Cool.
So I think it's a pretty good funnel. I'm hoping so. And then with the amount of information that Momoko sent to me this week
that was
from
so great.
The customer research, it's such a phenomenal document. So just to advertise for her for free for a moment, kantan.io, I think Canton or canpan.io, however they pronounce it, is her service. Her and I'm not sure if it's husband or just significant other or whatever their relationship is between Momoko and John McDowell. Phenomenal research that Momoko does, all kinds of awesome that I can very highly recommend after having had her do both Signal Leaf and Watch Me Code for me.
Nice.
So that's it for me.
I had an idea anyway for Signal Leaf.
Okay.
If people switch from Libsyn to Signal Leaf, what do they have to do?
I have an import tool that I can run to migrate all of their existing episodes, including the MP3 files.
Okay, so my great idea is something you already did. I was just thinking about it the other day because I moved all of my files off of Libsyn over to CacheFly.
Right.
Because they're sponsoring devchat.tv.
Right.
So, money savings there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Admittedly, it's a tool that I have to run manually on my local computer. I have not I have not yet architected it to the point where I've automated it for other people to just sign up and do it. You have to contact me and say, hey, I want to migrate. But I mean, I've done it for half a dozen people.
Yeah.
You should totally make it so that they can just
I really should.
Yeah.
do it automatically. I'm switching from Libsyn. Here's the RSS feed that I want you to import.
Right.
Boom.
Yeah. Even Derick, could you just like Flintstone it and like just bake it into the app where it's like it looks like it's a feature, but it's just like a fancy contact form.
That's what I was going to suggest.
Just sends me an email and I do it for you.
Basically. Yeah, just say this takes 6 to 8 hours to run.
Right, it's a couple of days.
Yeah.
What I should do is set up a landing page where you tell me the name of your podcast and all that, and then tell me some of your basic stats that you can get from Libsyn. How many listeners do you get? How many this or other? Give me your RSS URL, and then I will, I'll import your thing for you. And I want to know their stats because I want to know if they're going to screw me over in terms of bandwidth usage.
Yeah. Yeah, you could make even a calculator that you put it in, and then it shows you how much money you're going to save, or I don't know. Like if it ends up being enough, then that would be a good way to advertise it. And then you could actually advertise specifically. This calculator could show you how much you're paying on your podcast, how much you can pay, or how much it would cost you to host. Yeah, the problem is existing podcasts tend to have a fairly high level of traffic. Yeah. And I like the people that have not launched a podcast yet because it's easier for me to be profitable with them. Yeah. And then as they grow, they tend to tell more people about Signal Leaf, and I get more customers that way.
But you will get more out of people saying, I switched to Signal Leaf and I love it, than you'll get from new people, because they're going to have to grow up to the point where people actually care what they're doing.
Right.
That's a good point. Plus, I've almost got this Dropbox import done. I should have that working for EntreProgrammers this week. I'm gonna. I've got it about halfway done. And I have prototyped most of the rest of it already. So once I get it in place, I'm gonna enable it for a couple of my sample podcasts just to make sure it works, and then I'll turn it on for EntreProgrammers. And I'll turn it on for Get Up and Code as well if you want, John.
Cool.
And once we have it running for a few weeks with our stuff, making sure that it works right and tweaking anything I need to do, then I'll start getting some early adopters from other people in place and get.
Is there any way I can get a sample account for Signal Leaf so I can go in and fiddle with it?
Yeah, totally. You can sign up for an account without actually paying anything. Just choose whatever plan. And then after you register, don't put in your credit card information. You'll have an account, but you won't be able to create a podcast. Just let me know when you create your account, and I'll go behind the scenes and add a podcast to your account for you.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I just want to play with it, and that way I can really tell people, look, these are the features. I'd actually kind of like to do a side-by-side.
Right.
See, ugly, pretty. Helpful, less helpful.
Right.
So do you guys see what I posted in there?
Yeah, I just got that email as well.
Did you? That guy is ingenious.
He is.
It's what is it? I want to plug his thing because it's so smart. Interviewed.io.
Interviewed with the ED at the end.
Yeah.
Interviewed.io. John and I apparently both got this email from this guy. This is great because he's got both John and Josh and I, and probably Chuck as well, listed as in the people directory. And so you can see all of the interviews that I've done on podcasts. We need to get EntreProgrammers in here.
It is. It's featured. Go to the homepage.
Oh, is it?
It says featured podcast.
Oh, heck yeah, it is. It's right there. Number 3.
This is awesome. This
it
is for more than one reason. One, because it's an extremely useful tool. Like, I have an About Me page that shows all, but if he puts it all on here, nicely formatted, I'm just going to totally point my. Yep. I've got that page too. I'll just point people over here. Yep, and not only this, can you imagine, this guy is reaching out to like all these people, like every single person that he reaches out to is going to be like, this is awesome. Like, who doesn't want to have a page? And so he's going to be hitting big name people, getting them to reply to him and like him and like support his thing and share it. Like, this is going to go viral. Like, I would be surprised if this doesn't go super viral like within the next few days, just because of how many big name people are going to be blasting this thing out there. And yeah, it's an extremely useful tool, smart way to run. I mean, he can, when he monetizes this, however he does, it's going to be instant success. He's going to jump up and have an instant business.
Yeah.
So
I'm tweeting it right now. Done.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty smart. Like, I wish I would have thought about this. Like, come up with this idea because it's just genius.
I'm looking at my about on the site, and it's perfect. It's the about for Derick Bailey says entrepreneur and scammy marketer.
Nice.
Which he totally pulled right out of my Twitter profile. I say that at the end of my Twitter profile. That's awesome.
So mine's coming out of my Twitter profile as well.
What's the guy's name? Mubashar Iqbal. I'm totally butchering his name, and I'm sorry for that, but this is brilliant.
Yeah.
Very well done.
Speaking of podcasts, Chuck, you're holding out on us. You had Pat Flynn on your podcast. You forgot about it. What's going on here?
Oh, yeah. That happened. I forgot about that. That was a while ago. That was like a year ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's like December 2013. Yeah, I was looking. I actually discovered it from this app because I was like, oh, I wonder what podcast Pat Flynn's been on. And I was like, Freelancer Show? Really?
Nice.
Oh, yeah, and we're listed above the fold. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like 10 gazillion podcasts.
So I had a couple of interesting things this week. I did the funnel day this Sunday where Jeremy Reeves came and did the funnel day for me, and I have mixed thoughts on it. Like, it was definitely useful. It's expensive to do one of those things, to have an expert copywriter come fly out to you and spend the day with you. But I learned that I already had learned a lot about funnels. Like, I think his service would be extremely valuable for someone that didn't have a funnel. And he even admitted, like, if a chiropractor or something, like, if he came in, he would blow their mind and 10 times their business overnight. And I totally agree with that. He still had a lot of good stuff for me. I don't want to knock his service, but we're honest can be on this podcast. So I am going to say that, would I have paid money to find out that I'm much further along, to gain confidence in my ability to make funnels? Yes, I would have paid money just for that. So that alone was probably worth it because it was kind of cool to see all the secrets that he was showing me were things that most of them I knew already, which it set me I was unsure of a lot of these things, right? So I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I was unsure of him, and he made me much more confident. So I'm going to execute on them. So he's going to get me to execute on a lot of things. He really emphasized the product orbit. So I've got now a path to go from, and here's kind of what my product.
explain that name? You threw that term out in the email.
Oh, yeah.
I think I know what you mean.
I
but
had no idea what a product orbit is.
I think Brendan Dunn might have first come up with the term because he does it very well. But a product orbit is essentially like related products that, or it might have been Patrick McKenzie, but anyway, it's related products that like go up the chain of value, you know, that 80-20 thing. But they're related. They're next follow-on steps. So like to plug Brendan Dunn's thing because he did it so well is he's got like a double your freelancer rate. Like I think that's his like beginner thing. He might have something really small before then. But then the next thing is how to start a consultancy, like to go from a freelancer to a consultancy, an agency where you have multiple people working for you, building a business, doing freelancing, right? And then he's got a high-end product, which is how to grow your consultancy, how to grow your agency. So it's like a product orbit because it's like it's all centered around freelancing, right? And it goes from from his like I think his book might be $50 to $100, and then like his agency, how to start an agency product is like $400 or $500, but then his super high-end stuff, like how to grow your agency, $1,200, or I don't even know what the price is, but it's a very high price item. But it's smart because you grow people, you're targeting the same audience, you find them at different price points, they can grow along with you, or they could buy all three.
Yeah, so this is similar to the 80-20 thing about constantly upselling, because there will be people that want to spend more money with you.
Exactly, yep.
Nice. Good to see that parallel in the different perspective.
Yeah. So what mine looks like, at least like what mine is proposed to be, what we're thinking of, is first a free thing that I'm going to give away on like through Facebook ads, which would be just a 2-page report on how I 5 times my income. Because that's gonna like an eye catcher. I can give like a story, but not the details, like and then that's a kind of a hook. Then that goes into a $17 course that I'll sell. A video course, like a small video course on how to learn a programming language in 7 days, because that's one of the things I learned how to do in order to 5 times my income was how to learn a program. And I've learned programming languages in 5 days. Or 7 days. I can teach someone how to do it and talk about the Pluralsight courses as evidence. And that's another eye catcher. And it's only a $17 purchase. It'll probably be worth $100 worth of value. Then that goes into my how to market yourself. And then the high-end project that I'm probably going to sell for $997 is going to be how to double your income in 90 days. And this is where I'm going to give like the step-by-step details on, okay, if you want to start a side business, how do you do that? Like, how do you do that? Like, because the goal would be to take someone who's making $80K a year and show them in 90 days how they can get to 160, which is something that I can totally do, right? Because I can show you how to market yourself. First of all, like I can give a more step-by-step guide of how to do that, because the how to market yourself course is more of the ideas and the beginner, but people have asked for more advanced stuff. So this would be like step-by-step, do this, do this, do this. So that's gonna, maybe we can get your income up, your salary up to 100, 110, maybe 120. Can get you going with freelancing on the side, which is going to add another 10 or 20K a year, and then building a small product or something like that that's going to be able to get you the rest of the way. And then the financial pieces, like the debt stuff, the kind of things that I talk about how to manage your finances, kind of in the soft skills. So it'll kind of be that $997. Probably 10 payments or 12 payments of $97, or some kind of payment plan thing, but and then that will be my essentially my funnel will go up that, and that'll give me the high end.
Are payment plans for things like that still a legitimate, viable thing? I mean, I remember, all those TV ads years ago in the 80s and 90s, 12 easy payments of $29.95.
Okay, absolutely. So Derick Halpern just launched this course, which I was actually tempted to get. But I think like if we were just starting out, it'd be something more. But he's got what is it called?
Is it his Blog That Converts course?
No, he just launched a new one.
Yeah, I remember seeing the emails about it.
Anyway, he just launched a new thing. I can't remember what it's called right now. Like today's the last day, like when we're recording this, to get it, and it's $197 a month for 12 months.
Right.
So you do the math there.
That's a lot of money.
But again, if he's going to give you a course that's going to show how to build a business or something, right?
Yeah.
Paying $190, I'll pay $1,000 a month for a business coach, right? Josh did it. I would do it.
I was going to say, John, I think that is the one. I mean, you don't have to do that, obviously, but that would be the next step. Would be some kind of high-level coaching after the $997 product.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you could easily make $1,000 a month for one, each each person you're coaching.
Well, one idea that Jeremy had that I thought was really good is he suggested going and speaking at corporations, like doing a one-day, not a workshop like on a language or anything, but I will make your developers more efficient, like productivity, and just talk about the things that are in soft skills. And now having the book, it kind of gives you the gateway. Like someone like Microsoft or Cisco or whatever would totally pay $10,000 for me to come in one day.
Yep.
And give a talk to their group. So that's probably where I'll go with the super. I just don't want to do too much of that because I know it. I mean, it seems kind of silly, but I want to mostly build a business that's automated. I don't want to have the me component in there unless I'm producing content that's evergreen. So you go and you give a talk. Yes, even if you get paid $10,000, yes, that's a lot of money. Yes, it's worth doing. But if you do a lot of those, you're not going to be producing content that's continually on autopilot. So, but anyway, he did help me come up with that and a few other ideas. But which is probably going to be. I mean, obviously the high-end product alone, just the brainstorming with him and coming up with that will be worth his fee.
Yeah.
So yeah. but I would say that someone at our level might not benefit from his services quite as much as. But if someone at just starting out with their business doesn't have any fun, one of the things was I showed him my email course and he was blown away because he hadn't really seen email. When he saw the open rate on that, he was like, "What? Are you kidding me?"
I still get comments from people about how high the email open rates are for the email courses that we have.
Yeah,
it's insane.
It's insane, and I mean the email course alone now, just by implementing that, I'm already at for January $1,300 in Bluehost referrals.
Jeez.
Yeah.
In Bluehost referrals, we're not even talking about how to market yourself.
Right.
Tracking 5K of sales this month, which normally it's $2K. So, and I still have to work on I think the last email in the course was a little too salesy. When I had a one person write, well, it's only one person so far, but
right.
But I gotta figure out how to give a little bit more value there. But people are converting out of that. And then one last thing, that I did this week is I did Josh's giveaway contest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, the email.
I wasn't planning on doing this. I want to do a quick giveaway for a signed copy of the book. So I was just going to put a tweet out that said retweet this for a chance to win a signed copy of Soft Skills. But then I was like, well, I should probably capture people's email addresses or something. But then
if only there was a way to do that.
Yeah, I know.
In a way that would make it go viral. That would be even better.
So 5 minutes later, I found myself at Josh's blog post, reading through his and then and launching the contest. And when it first started out, I had I think I had up to 1,300 simultaneous people on the page at one time.
Oh, nice.
So but then it started to die down. So I'm it ends on Monday, I think, yeah, and it's Friday now. I have 1,600 or 1,700 people signed up. Probably 200 or 300 will already be on my list.
Right.
So I might net 1,000 or so, which is totally worth it. And the thing is, it's a signed copy of my own book, right? Obviously not the most viral thing to give away, but I'm also virally promoting the book because there's been over 1,000 tweets about this contest that are all essentially promoting the book. Even if someone doesn't enter the contest, they're hearing about the book, and so that was kind of the goal. Plus, the people I'm getting on my list are people who want a signed copy of my book.
Right.
That's a higher value than if I could get 40,000 emails of people that wanted some free thing.
Right.
But if they're specifically, I'd rather have a couple of thousand emails of people that specifically want a signed copy of my book because that's my target. They're already excited about what I have.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
Awesome.
So that's it for me.
Well, we did your email too. We did the Sublime email, right?
Oh yeah, we did the Sublime email. Josh, I rented Josh's list for $900,
Nice.
which I think it's going to be worth a lot more than $900.
Let's clarify that. So there is actually, I mean, so when you rent a list, like you actually get the addresses, right? That's not what we do.
You sponsored an email.
Yeah, it's a sponsored email. Oh, it's a solo ad, is what the internet.
Yeah, it's a solo ad. Yeah, okay, all right. Sorry, I don't mean to cheapen your service there, but no, it was totally worth it. And thank you, Josh, because that I sold. Oh gosh, I don't know what the exact count is, but I did an offer. Oh yeah, on Derick's list because Derick asked me to guest post on his newsletter. I just put a small plug at the end for the book.
How did that go?
You know what? At first my count was like 5 or so, but I think it's more like 15 people bought the book because it started trickling in.
Right.
Yeah, they took more people might have bought the book, but didn't take me up on the offer. But
yeah.
And then on Josh's, I made the mistake of he sent out an email with a story, with a link to the book and then or to the landing page where you can get a bonus chapter, and that converted not great. Like I got. I think 550 people from Josh's list I converted over to my list. But then I had the idea to send out another email to them, or maybe Josh just said send out another email to them. And so I did. And then the email I sent to them, this one was interesting because I took some notes on this because this was I had a lot of. I've been responding to emails. I'm still getting emails coming in from people taking me up on this offer. But the thing, what made me think this was successful is people are like not just taking me up on the offer. They're like, oh, I love the way you structured this offer. Thank you. I love the honesty. Like they're giving me compliments on it. So I thought this would be worth sharing. So I sent an email and I basically said, look. Here's the deal. I'm kind of crazy, but I'm going to give you a choice. I'm either going to give you $5. I'll PayPal you $5 if you buy my book, or I'll give you my $97 10 Steps to Learn Anything Quickly course for free. Right? So it's kind of a dummy decision. No one's going to take the $5. They're going to take a $97 course, but the $5 makes my course look more valuable if you don't know me from Joe because it's at least worth $5 because this dude is going to at least PayPal me $5. So I think credit to Josh for coming up with that. I need to do something to legitimize myself, but I gave them the choice, and I said, basically, send me an Amazon receipt. But then right after that, like I said, and here, let's make this even better. Like, let's make this easier. Let's make this on the honor system. You don't even need to email me your receipt. Just reply back and tell me that you bought the thing, and I will send you either the $5, your choice, or $97. So that was the thing that won people over because they're like, I love that you're being so honest. I love that you implemented the honor system here, and 95% of people sent me the receipt anyway.
Nice.
Right? Because they said I want to be honest and do the honor thing. Like even though you don't need to see the receipt, here it is anyway. So that was cool, and that turned the advertisement into something that people like. Instead of normally when you spam or not spam, but
normally when you spam people like I did.
Normally when you email someone a offer, right, that their value, their opinion of you goes down.
Right, yeah.
I felt like this raised it, and these are people that are going to be now on my list, like, so to me that was worth like taking note of, is utilizing the honor system. And then obviously I was taking a risk here. Everyone could have said I want $5, and that would have sucked.
I was nervous that was going to happen. Actually.
Yeah.
And I'll give you the stats. Out of all the people, and there's probably over 100 people that took up on this offer. Not one person asked for $5. Well, okay, there was one guy who asked for $5 and the $97.
Can I have both, please?
Yeah, he asked for both. Wow. He said, but I'll just take the $97 course if I can't have both.
Right.
And then the other thing that I did with that email is I thought, okay, what's the biggest guarantee I can make about this book? Because I'm sure people no one has told me that they don't like this book, so here's what I'm going to do. And plus, it's another small risk thing. As I said in the email, here's a guarantee. No author that I know of has ever made this guarantee, but if you do not like the book, I will personally buy the book back from you. So no risk, and I emphasize it in. So I'm so sure that this book is going to be helpful to you, that you're going to like it, that I will personally buy it back from you if you don't like it. And I think that kind of sealed the deal on the email. And if you're selling a book, why the heck not offer that? I mean, unless you know that the book is trash and you're getting bad reviews. But even if someone didn't like your book, the chance of them taking you up on that offer is so small. It makes such a solid, like, in my mind, guarantee that you know that the book's going to be something that they're going to like, that they should buy, and it's very, very small risk. Like, let's say that less than 0.5% of people that you gave that offer to wanted you to buy the book back. All you would do is you would say, look, keep the book. You don't even have to ship it to me. I'll PayPal you $30 or whatever it is, and it'd be worth it because you'd make way more than that in sales. So that's that offer.
And the email actually went over really well. I got a couple people who were just livid that I would send them spam. It was probably about an even mix between people who hated it and people who replied and said they loved it. And then if you look at the numbers, so the open rate was 38.9%.
That's good.
Click-through rate was 3.5, which is actually pretty good for this list. And then the unsubscribe rate was 0.7%, which is a tiny bit high. Well, it's actually not really any higher than average. It's on the high end of my average. So so I think I'll be doing this again. I'm only going to do it about once a month, I think, and I'll package it. I like the way I did it because I wrote, like, the email was somewhat interesting, like it was a story. I think some people really enjoyed it. One guy actually replied because he worked at HP, which is where the story was set at HP. It was an interview that John did at HP, and I think there was a little value there, even if you didn't necessarily appreciate the pitch at the end. But I think I'll probably do this again, probably once a month, and I'll probably sell it the same way, where it's one-time fee. I'll send the traffic where you want it to go. I'll write a story to try to get people to take the action.
Yeah.
So, and that'll be nice. That'll be a nice little recurring revenue for me. I think once a month I can get a nice little pop of income off of that.
Yeah, and it didn't damage your list, so
Nope.
it might have even it's kind of cool. Like, I mean, if you're sending stuff like this, I think it's like AppSumo. Like, I like getting AppSumo emails, even if I don't want to buy the thing. It's like it's a deal for me. Hey, why not? Like, it's related to what I like, and it's a deal. So.
Yep.
The other.
Yeah, I think the next one's going to be the sketching with CSS is probably going to be the next one we do.
Cool.
So.
The book didn't quite reach number one. It reached number one in Amazon UK, like, for a bunch of categories. It reached number one in Amazon Canada for marketing books. and
Marketing,
Yeah. And number two in software development, and then in US it got all the way up to number 3 in software development books, and I think the highest it got was number 3,000 overall in Amazon out of 8 million books. So definitely not bad, but it didn't quite make it to. I'm not quitting until I get the number 1 spot on Amazon US. So I've got a few more bullets left in my chamber, but that was definitely a success.
One thing I was thinking about that is that we don't really know, it was kind of frustrating, but we actually don't know what number 2 and number 3 actually look like, right? I mean, for all we know, if you think there's going to be an 80-20 curve on that, right? And those last 2 spots are probably going to be, they might be pretty far ahead of number 3. So it might take you more time and more just building up a lot more, selling one book 30 times every day, if that makes sense, like different channels. Feeding into it versus it might have been that we got up, you got 80 sales and you needed 200 to hit number 1. So
we have somewhat of an idea, because what you can do is you can look at the book overall Amazon seller rank. So when I was hitting the number 3 spot, my overall Amazon seller rank was number 3,000, but number 2 in software development is at 1,700. Overall, and number 1 the cracking the code is at 288.
Oof.
So
Wow.
so number one is a tough spot to crack.
Yeah.
Number
wow.
two is
of
doable.
all books on Amazon.
Yeah.
Or in the category.
No, of all books on Amazon.
Holy
Wow.
cow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Now in Amazon Canada, I actually did get in the top 100. I was at one point I like peaked into like I think 99 of all books sold on Amazon Canada for some period of time. Part of the problem too is just the way that this is set up, because a lot of people bought the book off of Manning's website directly, which is still good. I still gave them the deal, but they, Manning
there's a bleed.
version, yeah.
You're bleeding off your momentum.
Yeah, but I don't know. We'll see. I mean, there's still a lot more that can be done to promote the book. There's going to be organic. The thing is, right now, I'm trying to build up as many people to buy it as possible right now, because I know that they're going to tell their friends, because I know that people are doing that without me asking right now, because I'm seeing the tweets, I'm seeing the thing about it. So that's my goal, is that eventually, because you look at books like Clean Code, right, and Code Complete. Those are consistently up in the top 10, right. and those are not searchable things. You don't search on Amazon for Clean Code or for Code Complete, right? Unless you're searching for that book specifically. Mm-hmm. Whereas Cracking the Coding Interview, the reason why it's number one, I mean, it's a good book. Don't get me wrong. I've got a copy right here. But one of the reasons why it's doing so well is because when people search for coding interview, right. That's a term that people search for. So.
Right.
That's hard to overcome. No one is going to search for soft skills for software developer, right? Soft skills themselves they might search for, but...
Interesting tangent. One of the things that Momoko put into the research that she did for Watch Me Code was about interview questions, and how it would be very possible, very likely that I could be very successful by focusing a series on interview type questions around JavaScript and then promoting that with pay-per-click ads like AdWords.
You guys could even team up on that.
Yeah.
How cool would it be to do the Rob Connery style coding interview with John, where you give him like a puzzle and he has to think it through and talk through it out loud, and like basically pair programming.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the structure that we had set up at Trackabout.
Yep. That would be very cool.
Yeah, that would be.
That's super intimidating. That is like that. Oh man, drop everything and do that, because that is like, like we've talked about the raw pain point. That is like one of the rawest pain points that you can, anxiety points, that you can. Oh man, just do it.
One other thing real quick, and then I'll get off the I just linked a blog post I did. This is going to have a long tail, I hope. So I'm stealing SEO juice for Cracking the Coding Interview.
Uh-huh.
The blog post is called Cracking the Coding Interview, 12 Things You Need to Know. And it's not just a stupid post, right? Like this, I spent hours on this post. This might have been the most time I've ever spent on a post. There's like 10 images in the post. Like I tried to make it funny, and I put like a lot of really what I think is solid advice in there. Mm-hmm. And then I plugged my book at the end. So my hope is that someone searching for Cracking the Coding Interview, this will come up near the top. They'll see this. They'll read through this. I say that Cracking the Coding Interview is a good book, but then I go into to basically transition to say, well, okay, you get that book, yes, but also buy soft skills, because you're going to need that as well.
Right.
So I don't know. We'll see how the strategy works. If I can get up to. Yeah.
Or you could just be like Rick and shoot yourself in the foot. My email, like the guy shot himself in the foot before he even got to the coding part of the interview.
Yeah,
that was a pretty awesome. I now understand the origin of bam, son.
Yes.
That's pretty amazing.
So that's pretty much it for me. Sorry to take so much time.
I took up like an hour and 15 minutes. What are you talking about?
Okay, well, I don't feel as bad. How about Josh and Chuck, you guys?
I don't have a whole lot. I mean, the email was kind of stressful this week. I was pretty nervous about how that was going to go down.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to deliver for John. The way we structured it actually was that John was paying for clicks up to a certain amount, so that if I didn't deliver, then he wouldn't get screwed. So I was happy with the way that we structured that. And then, But yeah, I was like really nervous about the backlash from my list, and it ended up being there was some, and I'll probably unsubscribe those people. And I haven't actually gone back and read the emails yet, but I'll probably do that this weekend and probably just unsubscribe the ones that were nasty. But yeah, so that that one. I was happy with how that went, and then
here's
really
something, Josh.
Yeah, go for it.
Those people give me or offer them my $97 course for free. I'll just give it to them. Yeah, no, seriously. Like, just say, hey, John felt bad that you were upset about this, so he's going to give you this.
All right, we'll try it.
Goodwill doesn't hurt. Yeah. All right. Sorry. Go ahead.
I like that.
You
So
should use that technique with my kids.
kindness.
You're sad? I'll buy you off.
Yes, totally.
But sometimes that I always do that because those people become your biggest fans.
Yeah.
Like if you have someone with a bad experience and then you're like you just kill them with kindness, they're all of a sudden tweeting all your stuff. They're like, oh, I love this guy. So because they don't
Can
see.
you send them some unsolicited pairs?
All right, sorry.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, so I'll yeah, so that's pretty much it. I am getting faster at writing emails, which is good. So I did talk to my mentor, and he's basically going to be stepping up. So he tapered back his consulting for a while to get he's getting his product, his course, his copywriting course up and running, and he tapered that down for a bit, and he's gonna start picking the consulting back up. So he wants me to pick up as much of that as I can. So that'll be good, and he's gonna start paying me more too, which is nice. So we haven't agreed on amounts yet, but he's definitely gonna start paying me more as he's giving, because he's gonna be kind of building his business based off of my capacity to produce. So, and then I'm getting faster at the emails too. Like I did, he gave me a 4 email assignment on Tuesday that was due on Thursday, and I banged that out in 6 Pomodoros. So
nice.
Yeah. So a couple of things that have really helped is I've tightened things down. Like I'm shooting for around 150 words now. Typically I was coming in between 200 and 300 words. So that's a big chunk. That's a chunk of it. And I'm also just I've been trying to do this sharpen the saw thing where before I dive into an assignment, I'm really trying to do a little bit more research on the audience, kind of get myself back in that frame of mind, and because it's really hard to not when I'm facing a deadline to not just dive right into writing, and I just sit there and I stress and it's like pulling my fingernails out to get words out. But if I can just prime the pump a little bit more, everything just goes a lot smoother. Mm-hmm. So I'm pretty nervous about. He gave me a big assignment that's due on Wednesday. It's basically a 4-part video sales letter, and he's like, "Oh, it's short, and I'm like, "It's 40 minutes minimum. That's not short. That's it's 5,000 words, and it has to be structured a certain way. There's 4 parts to it. I've never done this format before, so I'm kind of freaking out about it. But
so you're writing the script for somebody else to read in a video?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Oh, you are? Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. I've done a couple. I've done one or two.
That's a completely different style of writing, because you have to be able to, you have to write in a way that sounds natural when somebody talks, not when somebody reads.
Right. Well, and actually, I mean, with the emails that I'm doing, they're not far off of that. I try to make them sound conversational.
Yeah,
but yeah, there's definitely.
I've got a lot of experience writing scripts for my own videos, and the way I write is very conversational, but the way I write when I script a video is completely different.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, shorter sentences.
Yeah.
Keeping the ideas simpler and stuff.
Run-on sentences. I mean, I legitimately write run-on sentences and sentence fragments when I script my videos.
Yeah.
Because that's how I talk, because it's natural that way.
Right. Yeah, so thank you for adding to my stress.
Yeah, stress them out. Go ahead.
No problem.
Yeah, so I'll have I'm going to have a long day tomorrow for sure. I got the first video outlined today, and then I think my goal tomorrow is going to be to get at least all 4 of them outlined. And then this is for the chiropractor market, and the part that's freaking me out is I just don't feel like I have enough stories and testimonials from this particular client. Because it's hard because I'm 2 steps removed from the client that I'm writing for. They don't know I exist, and I can't ask them questions, and I can't ask them for specific tutorial or testimonials and that sort of thing. So
just call them up anonymously and be like, "Hey, my back kind of hurts, but I was wondering about Joe. Joe, this guy that you worked on. He's a friend of mine. Tell me more about him."
I did finally figure out that it would probably be okay for me to sign up for the email lists that I'm writing for. So that's actually been really nice to see. I've seen all my content coming through, and like they make a lot of it. They just are using mostly. I get to see the little tweaks that they're making though, so I can kind of improve what I'm doing for them. But yeah, so that, and then the only other thing I wanted to mention is so one thing that has been driving me crazy about my Mac is I really love in Windows. I love the Windows arrows, window snapping.
You size up.
Well, so what I've got is I found a tool called so I was using Better Touch tool, which allowed you to do the drag side to side thing, but I found one today. So there's Better Touch tool makes Better Snap tool, and it's just a really simple utility, and you can do the hotkeys and everything. So I've got oh my goodness, because when I'm doing this writing, I have 2 Google Docs open. I've got like my notes on one side and it was just it was such a pain to do that manually.
Yeah, I use SizeUp for that, which works pretty well. I really like SizeUp. I've got hotkeys on SizeUp mapped to my Vim commands, so I do what look like Vim commands in order to move my windows around.
That's really cool.
I've got one. It's kind of difficult. It's like Control-Alt-Command-C, so it takes both of my hands and one part of my keyboard. But that's the one that I use to resize and center all of my windows for recording video. I have that key set up so that everything goes to 1280 by 720 right in the center of the window, so I don't have to bother fudging around with resizing windows when I'm going to record. I just center, start recording, and I'm done.
Nice.
What do you have it set up to do on MASH with elbow?
I think that's an Emacs shortcut.
That one flips my screen upside down and then inverts the colors.
No, it's not an Emacs command because
it actually happened to me once. That actually happened to me once. My son was in here banging on my keyboard, and he flipped the screen upside down and inverted the colors.
Nice.
It took me like 2 hours to get it fixed. It's so awful.
So you asked about what's going on with me. If you can't tell, all of my hair is gone.
Uh-oh.
Did you have a nair again?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a nair pool in the back. No.
Right.
This week has been absolutely insane. So I have one client that wants to kind of rush job some work for his client, and he's done quite a bit of stuff for me, so I kind of feel like I owe him. So I said yes to him. And then I have another client that wants to have their e-commerce store set up by mid-February, and so I've got to get that done. So I've been trying to get that work in. And then I landed the big, huge contract, and so I need to get enough work done for them so that they're happy. And then so Monday was kind of all over the place with that stuff. My wife's carpool partner, of course, flaked out on her a few times. And then on top of that, my grandpa died on Tuesday.
Ouch.
We took the kids over on Saturday, and we all said goodbye, and we kind of knew it was coming. So, I mean, and he's had dementia and stuff, so he's kind of been gone for a while, but it's still sad.
Yeah.
But I've had a few days to process it, so I'm not like on the show.
Right.
And then my wife's stepdad wound up in the hospital.
Jeez.
So, and they live like 2 hours away, so in rural Utah. So they had to come up here to Provo, and so he's at the hospital there. My mother-in-law's staying here, and she showed up at like midnight or 1 o'clock on Wednesday night. And I forgot that Podcasters Business Summit was this week and next week. So I've been watching those those talks and being involved there, which is a plus, and I'll talk about that in a second. But then yesterday I had a couple of things come up that prevented me from getting all the work done I needed to, and today has just been kind of insane too. And then I've got some other stuff going on with some of my sponsors and other stuff. So, and I've gotten a few emails about JS Remote Conf, and I just haven't had time to deal with them, and it's all kind of piled on, and I've just been going crazy. So I might not sleep tonight. Yeah. But then anyway, so it's just been a really stressful week, and I think next week is going to be stressful just making up for this week.
Right.
But yeah, so just overall, it's just been kind of an emotional up and down and all over the place week, along with the fact that I have more work than I can really do. So, I mean, the nice thing is my income has, from where it was when I was kind of having that down month, it's come back up and it's stabilized. So things are looking good there. I've picked up another sponsor, so things are happy there. And then the funny thing is with the Podcasters Business Summit is that so over the last 3 days, I have specifically interacted with pretty much all of the speakers, either by joining in the call for a voice Q&A, or by asking them specific questions and then working out relationships with them.
Nice.
So it has been really cool. It's an online deal. It's structured just like JS Remote Conf. There might be a reason for that. I might have stolen the format. But anyway, so and they're using this killer tool that I'm going to use for JS Remote Conf, which was kind of a big win for me. But anyway, so there have been some ups and some downs. Oh, I also had a photo shoot yesterday for some business photos, so that I actually have a picture that looks nice.
Nice.
Looks professional. That's actually why I shaved off the tufts of hair that I still have left.
Right.
So when we do your thing for the EntreProgrammers, you're going to be the only digital, you're going to have this sexy pose, and we're all going to be cartoon. It's going to be Chuck now, Super Chuck.
I'm going to take the photo that you send me and just plaster it on there without having it cartooned.
Oh, there we go.
You look a little bit like Lex Luthor. Maybe that.
Yeah.
There we go. But yeah, so anyway, so overall it's just been a crazy week. But I have these things going. I'm going to put together the Kickstarter campaign for Rails Clips this week, and then I found a videographer who will do things for me at a deal.
Cool.
Nice.
I just reached out through some of my contacts who had contacts who made it all work, and they said nice things about me, and so I'm getting a pretty good discount on the work, and so I should have a pretty solid video together, and we're doing that next week. So then I can pull all that together and I can promote it. I'm hoping to do a little bit of the promotion at JS Remote Conf, and I'm hoping to also run the Kickstarter campaign basically through Mountain West Ruby Conference. And then when I do that through Mountain West Ruby Conference, I'm probably going to try and pull together a meetup of some kind during the conference, because they used to have hack nights, hack parties, but what it really turned into was big drinking parties at the hotel that half of the attendees didn't want to be at, and so they've kind of left it up to companies. If you want to hold an event afterward, we'll announce it. So I'm probably just going to do a meetup and say, hey, look, if you want to come and support DevChat and support me and support whatever, then please come. And I may do the same thing for Mountain West JavaScript Conference, since I have the JavaScript Jabber thing going too, and then just kind of talk about or mention the Kickstarter there.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me that you're gonna be you're gonna give people a choice? You're gonna be like, okay, look, you guys, you could go out, with this other group, and you can get wasted and hang out with strippers and all this, or you can come over to Denny's with me, and we're gonna is that what you're telling me?
I don't know if there are going to be any of those kinds of parties. I assume there'll probably be one night of each conference, but I'm
just giving you a hard time.
But yeah, I don't know where the strip clubs are in Salt Lake, so. But yeah. Yeah, that's basically the idea. The thing is that I've been getting feedback from people that they want more personal access.
Yeah.
And so if I can do it at Mountain West, I think that'll give me an idea of what I'm doing at a venue that isn't huge. And so, if I have a handful of people show up, then I can kind of gauge that against what I want to do for other conferences. And then I'm toying with the idea of doing some workshops before or after RailsConf, as just kind of, hey, show up and I'll show you how to do, I don't know, testing your JavaScript in your Rails app or something. I'm also just playing with the idea of just, look, show up with your questions and I'll just do coaching all day, and you can just hang out and we'll order in food and stuff like that at RailsConf.
That's a good idea.
I don't know what kind of engagement I'd get from that, but if I'm going to do it, I need to pull together like the Eventbrite and stuff for it really soon, and reserve the room and things like that. So,
I think having some structure, like I've seen, typically the unstructured things that I've seen don't go well.
Right.
So I think having some coaching. I like the coaching idea, but I'd still have something planned.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, everybody's just going to sit around and kind of go, okay, over here, what next?
Yeah, what I may do is I'm kind of tempted to actually put it together so that it's a, kind of an open-ended coaching thing. But what it is when they register and pay, then I send them basically a survey and ask them a couple of questions about what they're working on and what they need help with. Mm-hmm. And then I can tailor. So it's basically, okay, I'm going to come and I'm going to talk about these 3 topics because it seems like that's what most people are interested in. And then the last hour or so, then we'll actually go after, you can ask me Q&A, I'll sit down and pair with you on whatever, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Something that I've wanted to do in a setting like that for a while is set it up so that the people come are expecting help, but don't set it up so that you, the leader, are going to be the person to help. Set it up so that kind of a combination between open spaces and consulting, coaching kind of situation where when you get there, you start out by having people, propose issues that they want to deal with, propose stuff that they want to learn, and have people volunteer to help that particular subject, and maybe even have people stand up in front of a mic for 30 seconds and talk about the issue that they want to deal with, and see if you can kind of organize an open spaces coaching session, I guess, would be a way to describe it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would really work. I mean, you'd have to have the right audience there that would be interested in helping and in talking about issues, but I think if you had the right audience, it could work really well.
Yeah. One thing that I'm thinking about doing is basically making it just one day, maybe have like 10 people there.
Right.
And, and then charge them. I'm not really sure where that price point needs to be, but, a few $100s at least. I'm not sure if I could get more than that or not. But do one like the day before the conference and another one the day after the conference.
So if you're going to do that route, I'd recommend picking a subject ahead of time.
Right.
And say, hey, I'm going to do this one-day coaching on subject X.
Yeah.
And for the first 2 hours, it's going to be me presenting to you, and then after that, it's going to be hands-on workshops based on the questions that you bring to this thing, so we can get in-depth and really have a coaching session for this very small group of people that are going to be in this.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, you could also split test it too. Like you could see like if more of an open thing works. Because if you're doing 2 days, then you could have a very focused one, and see if people sign up more for the one or the other.
I think the open thing, like I suggested, would work at the Los Techies conference that we do in Austin, because that is entirely an open spaces session anyways. So people would go there expecting to contribute and to get something out of it at the same time.
Right.
So if you had that mindset in the group already, I think it would work.
Yeah.
Yep. The other thing that I've thought about doing is you basically pay for the workshop, and then we as a group, all work through building some app, right? And so it's we're going to build basically something kind of like Foursquare or something kind of like Twitter, or I've had this idea that I've wanted to build for a while, so we'll work on that and we'll contribute it open source or something like that.
Let's work on my stuff. You're just like, feel like this, okay. Let's pretend like there's this company and they're gonna pay you like $20,000 to get this thing done Wednesday. So and here's what we're gonna build. Like, you work on this, and you just take your client work and have people work on it.
You are all now paying me to work on my projects. You are not unpaid interns. You are paying me so you can be an intern.
Yeah, this is real world apps we're building here. I'm serious. Like, no one's done this before. I'm kidding, but as I'm thinking about this, it's actually you might actually be able to do something like that. I don't know.
Have you guys ever read Tom Sawyer?
I've heard of interview processes.
Oh yeah,
and I've done that before in interviews where I give somebody like, hey, we're currently running into this problem. How would you go about solving this problem? And I've had a few good ideas come out of those.
Yeah, but I think like doing. Like building and contributing a basic Twitter clone or something would be, so it's open source, it's out there for anyone to use. We built it in a day at RailsConf. We're going to be, people can contribute to it as they want to. It'll get some maintenance. I don't know. Anyway,
sounds like just got good ideas. Yeah, I like it.
I also had another crazy idea, and I don't know if we have time to go over it or not because I think people probably need to leave, but. Maybe I'll bring it up next week.
Okay, well, you're on deck next week. We're going to Chuck first.
Yes.
Yes.
Chuck first.
And we need to get your picture on the thing. So.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I sent you a picture. I'll send you the professional shot, and then you can do whatever you want.
Did you? I don't remember seeing it. It probably got lost in the sea of email.
The email ocean.
All right, this is the last chance, and then Derick draws your picture.
Right.
Okay.
I will totally draw just a nice big circle with a couple of dots for eyes and put it on there. It's
nice.
That sounds very accurate to me, actually. Chuck's big round face, beady eyes, an oversized smile.
I could totally get that smile in there.
There we go.
Nice.
All right, guys. Then next
Thank
time.
you, guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Take care.
See ya.
See ya.
Wanna start a business but you just know how to code? Listen to the EntreProgrammers and we'll teach you straight up to be